Welcome. These films aim to help you to understand more about dementia. They will give you some practical tips on how people can live well with the condition. To help us explore the issues, this is Irfan, who is 66 years old and in the early stages of dementia, and his wife Fatima, who is 59 years old. This film explains what dementia is and how it can affect people. What is dementia? Dementia is a term used to describe a range of conditions which happen when the brain is damaged or affected by a disease. It can affect people in many different ways, but the most common symptoms are memory loss, problems communicating and disorientation, which we will talk a bit more about in a moment. There are many different types of dementia. Alzheimer's disease is the most common, vascular dementia the second most common. You can find out more about these specific types by speaking to a health professional like your GP, your nurse, or by contacting your local Alzheimer's Society office. You can visit us or arrange for us to visit you at home. It's important to know that dementia is not a normal part of aging, like many people think. It's an illness caused by physical changes in the brain. Anyone can get dementia. It affects men and women of all ethnicities, all over the world. There are, for example, over 800,000 people living with dementia in the UK and around 3.7 million people with the condition in India. At the moment, scientists don't know exactly why some people get dementia and others don't. It's known that aging, our genes, health, and lifestyle all play a part. There are some things that are thought to increase the risk of developing it, such as high blood pressure and diabetes. Vascular dementia can be caused by a stroke or series of mini strokes. This can block the blood flow to the brain or cause small blood vessels in the brain to burst, both causing damage to brain cells. Dementia is a progressive condition, which means it gets worse over time. However, many people with dementia lead active and fulfilling lives. Here are some examples of how people are affected by dementia. Memory loss. Dementia often affects the parts of the brain that store memory. It can be helpful to imagine our memory bank as two bookcases. One for our factual memories, including logical information and reasoning. The other for our feelings and emotional-based memories. Every experience we have can be attached to both types of memory. When someone has dementia, the part of the brain that stores factual memories is the first to be damaged. We can think of this as that bookcase starting to wobble. Initially, when the damage isn't too extensive, the information may be muddled, and it may take longer to recall things like names, dates, and events. Often recent memories, those on the top shelf of the bookcase on the left, are lost sooner, so the person's memories are those from many years ago. This could mean they believe they are much younger than they are and have difficulty in recognizing the people around them now. Emotional memories, as represented by the bookcase on the right, are in a part of the brain that tends to stay intact longer. People with dementia use these emotional memories to make sense of the world. For example, a person with dementia may not know someone's name, but they will know how they feel about them and whether that person makes them feel happy or secure. Memory difficulties vary with each person. Some common problems include unable to remember someone's name, unable to remember where things are kept in the house, unable to remember where the entrances and exits are in a familiar place. As dementia progresses, people may need more frequent reminders or help to eat, wash, dress, and use the toilet. They are likely to become increasingly forgetful and may sometimes repeat the same question or phrase over and over because of the decline in their memory for recent events. Communication. Dementia also often affects the part of the brain responsible for communication. So people might find it hard to come up with the right word, such as for the name of an everyday object. People may have problems expressing how they feel and say things that don't seem to make sense or that are inappropriate. Other problems may include following conversations or the plot of a TV program. They may repeat themselves several times during a conversation or lose track of what's being said. In the later stages of dementia, someone may stop speaking altogether. Concentration. Dementia also affects concentration and the way people carry out tasks. Difficulties here might include finding it hard to think things through or follow instructions. Everyday tasks can become difficult, such as reading and writing, cooking, or even making a cup of tea. It's common for people to get confused about what time, date, or season it is. As dementia progresses, they may also stop recognizing places, even those they visit regularly. For example, someone may have driven or walked frequently to the supermarket, their son's house, or their place of worship, but now can't find their way back, no longer recognizing reference points that were once familiar. These kinds of symptoms might cause someone to become embarrassed and withdrawn, preferring not to go out. Dementia can make people unusually anxious or agitated. Mood changes are common because the part of the brain that controls emotions is affected by the disease. Understanding what is seen and heard. Misunderstanding what is seen and heard can be very distressing for both the person with dementia and those around them. Damage to specific parts of the brain can lead to difficulties, which make it hard to judge distances. For instance, on stairs or calculating the distance to cars when crossing the street. Or they might misinterpret patterns or shadows. For example, someone with dementia might mistake a mat at the front door for a big hole in the floor, so they try to step over it, hesitate, or even refuse to walk. These are some of the most common symptoms, but remember, everyone experiences dementia in their own way.